Okay, it's that time of the year. It's June 2022. We're halfway through the year. I've bought a lot of records. It's time to go through and figure out which ones I've enjoyed the most that I've purchased in this year. So I went through all of them, found four that I keep going back to over and over again. I thought it'd be fun to share those with you guys today. It's kind of a weird spectrum of music. It's kind of all over the places. It's just four records. I thought I'd go through each of them right after this. Okay, so as I mentioned before, there's four albums that I've been listening to a lot in 2022. Now, small caveat here, a little asterisk next to 2022. I'm titling this video Favorite Albums Purchased in 2022 because there are two of them, maybe three, two. I think just two. Two of these albums actually came out last year, but they went under my radar and I didn't know about them until this year, which is when I bought them, and I've been listening to them nonstop. So it's not when they were released, but it's when I bought them. And like I said, these are four albums that I've just been listening to a lot. They really cover, I would say, a wide variety of genres, but the first three all kind of fit in sort of the same genre. And then there's like the fourth record, which is just, totally different than the other three. So let's get started with the first one. That would be the album Ghosted, okay, by three musicians. And I'm going to do my best not to butcher their names. Here we go. Again, the album is called Ghosted. The musicians are Oren Ambarchi on guitar, Johan Berthling on bass, and Andreas Verlin on drums. The last two names are Swedish. I am pretty sure I messed those up. I'm from Alabama. We don't have too many Swedish names growing up. So I apologize in advance to Johan and Andreas if I mispronounce your names. But forget my horrible pronunciation. The name of the album is Ghosted. This is one that came out last year, 2021, on Drag City Records. And this is probably the album I keep going back to the most this year. And I've been listening to it nonstop and recommending it to a lot of friends. Now, where does this fall, like, genre-wise? My go-to answer is jazz, although I don't really consider jazz having to just be your, horn-based classic blue note, Columbia-type jazz, right? This is just a little bit more sort of out there instrumental music. Think about, like, looping groovy jams. Like, they do a really good job of just getting into a percussive groove, right? Like, really great percussion, and then all the guitars and the other musical instrumentation sort of like happens above that. So if you're a fan of like krautrock, that might be something that you're interested in. The band it brings to mind to me the most is Don Caballero, but like late era Don Caballero with like American Don, where there's a lot of like guitar looping and then there's a lot of guitar experimentation happening on top of that. The album, the songs on this album are actually just named 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 are my favorite songs. They're both on side A, and they, like I said, they just sort of lock into a really great groove, and they're really fun to listen to. It's kind of relaxing, but also, it's interesting what they're doing with the instrumentation above that groove that really kind of keeps you engaged. Track 3 is just sort of this spacious, like ambient out there jam just in general, and it's almost 16 minutes long. That's on side B, and then there's a shorter song with song 4. So like I said, this came out last year on Drag City Records. Highly recommend checking this out. I'll include links below in the bottom description for everyone to go listen and buy themselves a copy. This is the first one, Ghosted. Go buy it. Okay, the second one, I'm gonna try again not to butcher some names. This is Panama 77 from Daniel Villarreal. I hope I got that right. Let's just stick with Daniel for now. This actually came out this year on International Anthem Records. It's a great sort of jazz label. I say jazz label out of Chicago. They've released a lot of great records that I've purchased throughout the years. This album Actually, I bought sort of the limited edition version, and I forget what they called it, like a Polaroid color or something. I'm not sure how they kind of came up with that, but it's kind of like a gold, yellowy gold kind of cover, right? So if you're asking me what this sounds like musically, I'm literally just going to read you what the label says, which is that they're a vibrant and verdant suite of multi-textural, jazz-laced, psychedelic, instrumental, folk funk. I think that covers everything. Here's one of the main reasons why I love this record. First of all, if you are a fan of percussion, so like I always like buying those dollar records where there's just like drums on the front. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like there's just like, you know, it's just going to be a lot of instrumentation for percussion. This is a great record for you. Like, it's a great modern version. Daniel, as you can see here, is a drummer. He's been in many bands. He grew up in Panama and relocated and eventually found himself in Chicago, played lots of bands, and finally released a solo record. So if you love drums, you need to check this out. Secondly, if you love Jeff Parker, if you love Tortoise, Jeff is all over this record. I'm a big Jeff Parker fan. I own a lot of his solo records. I own a lot of Tortoise records. In fact, I just found one last weekend and I bought it. I used one that for some reason I didn't have. But if you're a big fan of Jeff Parker and his guitar playing, definitely check this record out because he plays on several songs on this record, and it really, you can just tell when Jeff's playing, right? It just has that sound. In fact, I saw Jeff open for Steve Gunn at Third Man Records here in Nashville in December, I think, and it was great. I never got a chance to see Tortoise play, so seeing Jeff was just like a really great experience. So Jeff plays on this record. Again, it's an instrumental record. It's kind of jazzy. It's got a lot of like, it's got some Latin feel to it. The songs really bounce all over the place. But it's on International Anthem, came out this year. And if any of what I just said sounds interesting to you, definitely check this one out. Okay, I gotta find my other two records. I put them too far out of my reach. Let me grab those. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Magic of editing. It's weird, like when I put things somewhere when I'm making these videos and I think they're just right there, and then I look and they've shifted to an area where I can't actually reach it. All right, let's talk about the third album. 3 of 4 of my favorites that I purchased in 2022. This one's kind of a curveball. I stumbled on this band accidentally on Bandcamp, I think. And it was either Bandcamp or like a newsletter from I don't know. Anyway, I just sort of fell in love with it. I like to DJ. I like to play, I like to DJ out, you know, live. And I always really enjoy throwing in like covers that people aren't expecting to hear. And if you're someone that likes to hear a wide variety of genres covered by a band that no one would expect to hear, check out the Bacao Rhythm and Steel Band. I believe I said that right. I don't know, why did I pick 3? I picked 3 records where I can hardly pronounce them. Anyway, it's Bacao. I think it's Bacao. Bacao. Anyway, yes, and I said that right. It's a rhythm and steel band. Even better, these guys are from Germany. This is the other record that was released in 2021. This album is called Expansions. It's actually on, I think, Emerald Green. Hey, look at that. Oh, it's nice, right? So here's why I love this record so much. First of all, it is a rhythm and steel band, and it sounds like you're like in the Caribbean. However, they have great original songs. Don't get me wrong, but I really enjoy their covers. And let me just give you an idea. The number one cover that I love on this is they do Dirt Off Your Shoulder, as in Jay-Z's Dirt Off Your Shoulder. And I actually have the 45 of that, and I've been playing that in DJ sets. And every time I play it, people they're nodding their head. It's like they recognize it, but they're like, I'm listening to a steel band, what's going on? And then they look up, and I just kind of do this. I don't know. But for some reason, I don't know why this communicates that we're on the same page when I'm DJing, but there you go. Anyway, Jay-Z, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, and a steel band. I mean, you really can't go wrong. They cover other songs like Sylvester's I Need Somebody to Love Tonight. There's a Ike Turner cover on here. What else? They also cover Minnie Riperton. And they also even cover Erykah Badu's tribute to Jay Dilla, which is called The Healer. So, again, folks in Germany have a steel band covering R&B, disco, and hip-hop songs. That's really all you need to know. If you got this on Bandcamp, plenty more copies available. Just go buy it. I promise you, it's June, right? If you get it now, you'll have it in a couple weeks. You'll have it through July and August, the hottest months. You will play this every day. I promise you. All right? Go check it out. Okay, the fourth and final record that I've listened to the most is on the other side of the spectrum from those. All those records are sort of in the, I guess, jazzy, instrumental, whatever vein. This is just good old classic rock. Indie rock? Punk rock? It's not really a hardcore band. Anyway, Drug Church. The album's called Hygiene. I stumbled on Drug Church. I went to the Wrecking Ball Festival in Atlanta, Georgia in 2016. There were all these great bands headlining. I saw Deaf Heaven, Dinosaur Jr., Hot Snakes, lots of great bands. They were all playing at night. I got there early. I was wandering around. I went into the Masquerade where they were having shows in the bottom, went all the way down to the bottom, and there was just this really great, energetic band playing that I had never heard of. Turned out to be Drug Church. And I immediately got home and ordered their record, which at that time the record available was Hit Your Head, which came out in 2015. And I've played that record over and over and over, shared it with friends. They all love it. So I've been keeping up with Drug Church, and when I saw this album was available, I immediately picked it up. This is actually cut on 45 RPM, and sometimes it's called an EP, but I think there's still like 8 or 9 songs in there. So if it's an EP, it's a long EP. But that's a pretty great splattered wax right there. I thought that turned out pretty great. Good job, Drug Church. Anyway, if you don't know these guys, this album especially, there's really the best way I can explain this is just big, juicy guitar hooks. I haven't heard hooky guitars like this in a long time from like a modern band. And I was actually reading an interview with the band, and they said that that's basically what they focus on first, is they just get the hooks. They just focus on the hooks, and then their lead singer comes in and writes the lyrics like very last minute or something like that. But if you like guitars, big, big guitars, and you like rock music, and you like catchy sort of punk rock style jams, definitely check out Drug Church, check out Hygiene. If you want to be lazy, I'm going to be a little lazy today, okay? After mispronouncing all those other people's names, I'm going to be lazy. If you want to be lazy, you could probably recommend this to a modern band like Turnstile. But whereas I always feel like Turnstile is like a little bit more of like a party band, I've seen both live. And Turnstile really seems to get the crowd going, and I don't know, it's just, they're a little more like hardcore to me, although their new album definitely has like more melodic jams. That's where I think sort of Drug Church and Turnstile's sounds kind of meet, is on Turnstile's new album. But again, Drug Church, a lot more melodic singing, a lot less of like the high notes that the lead singer from Turnstile hits. But if you're into rock bands, definitely check out Drug Church. I think you'll enjoy it. So that's it. Those are the 4 albums I've been listening to the most so far this year. I'm still buying a lot of records. That will probably never change. And I'm looking forward to what's coming like for the rest of the year. Although it's interesting, I haven't really looked up kind of what's next. In fact, I actually sort of missed the whole last record store day thing. And as someone with a channel about vinyl records, that's probably bad. I just overlooked it. I was out of town. I only wanted 4 things and I got all of them. So it's fine. I wasn't there, but I still managed to get them. So it's fine. But anyway, back to the first half of this year. Those are the records I'm listening to the most. I've been buying records for almost 30 years now, and I've got the core stuff. I've got the Pink Floyds, the Jimi Hendrix, the Led Zeppelins, the Pearl Jams, the Nirvanas. I've got all that stuff. And I've been listening to music for a long time. And I think I'm sort of at a phase where I really like new and interesting sounds and music, definitely jazz. You know, there's always going to kind of be that punk rock kid inside of me that loves to find out new bands like Drug Church. But some of those other groups are really sort of expanding the musical horizon for me. And when I find things like that, I just really want to share them with other people. So, like I said, I'll include a list of the releases below. If you have time to check each of them out, definitely, if you want to support each artist and order a copy of their record, I'll link to Bandcamp, which I believe would probably put the most money in their pocket if you choose to buy it there. Anyway, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. It'll just circulate it around to other vinyl nerds. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching.